Hey guys, welcome to the Kingsman podcast. I'm Todd Goodwin and I'm setting in for Remo. Today's topic is time, the great equalizer. Thank you guys for joining us. Today we have a special guest, our senior pastor of Resurrection Life, Pastor Alan Hickman. And we also have his eldest son, as you see him here every episode, Micah Hickman. So today we're talking about time and it being the great equalizer. And Pastor Allen, as if you don't know, I've known him for 23 years, and I know that he's raised 11 boys in those 23 years. So he might have a little something to say about time management. So Brother Allen, why don't you give us some of your great insights?
Great insights. I want you to know that time is the equalizer to everybody. We only got 24 hours. Everybody, rich, poor, black or white. And the Bible talks a lot about time. And so I wanted to read a scripture and then use that as a jumping off point, if that's okay. I mean, he is my eldest son, and you know, I'm sad that he's getting older because that means I'm getting older. Here's what it says. See then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time because the days are evil. Therefore, do not be unwise, but understand what the will of the Lord is. Okay, there's several words that we don't use nowadays, but I want to just walk through. It says, see then that you walk circumspectly, okay? Circumspectly, paying attention, watching, carefully. Intentional. All of those different words. And then it says redeeming the time. That word redeeming the time literally, it was a Greek word. This is such a cool word picture. It was a Greek word that said that they used because ships would come into Greek ports and they didn't know when they were coming.
Yeah.
But when they came in to unload goods from other places, you had to be, and people bought them right off the boat. Merchants bought them right off the boat. And if you weren't there, you missed your opportunity. The word in the Greek literally means seizing your opportunities. Seizing your opportunities. What is that saying to us? I only got 24 hours. I only got one childhood with my children. I only have one life. There are no redos on any of those.
Yeah.
And so learning how to redeem the time, opportunities, seasons in your life, all of those things are of utmost importance. I know people that have gained and lost fortunes several times. I know people that have gained a bunch of money, lost it all, gained it again, lost it all. Okay. Everything the world gives you can be gained and lost multiple times. Mm-hmm. But time, your time with your children, your young time, your opportunities, they only come once.
Well, let me just jump on what you're talking about here, because we're older, older than Micah, obviously, you can see it.
Obviously.
We're older. We're older, so we've learned a few things. But Micah, I would direct this towards you. At your age, 36, 38?
I think 37.
37 years old. So with you, you probably can remember your childhood probably a lot better than me and your dad.
Probably.
Since we're a little bit separated from it.
A little bit more removed.
Do you remember ever thinking about time when you were a kid? I mean,
no.
What did you do?
Absolutely not. Played.
That's all you did. You never thought about it.
No, yeah.
When was it when you started thinking about time?
That's actually a good question, but I could tell you exactly when I put together my 5-year plan as far as or how I'm going to get where I'm going to get as far as job wise. When I graduated college, I had, okay, I'm going to do this for 2 years, this for 2 years. And I was very like, okay, if it's only going to be 2 years, then we're going to have to make sure we do this. We're doing this. We need to make this habit. This is going to suck. So we're going to have to make sure that we just make it to where we just do it overnight. That's probably when I started focusing on,
This is before you're married.
Oh, yeah.
Or you have kids.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So things changed when you got married.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And then it really changed when you had children.
In all kinds of ways.
So the reason I'm asking that, because what you're saying about being the great equalizer, there are times in our life, and no pun, but there are times in our life where time seems to be not as relevant when you're a kid.
Yep.
The time when we got home from school to the time my dad got home at 5:30 seemed like forever when I was a child. Now, 2.5 hours, man, I ain't enough time to do anything.
I know.
Now,
I know.
So here we are. What would you say, Brother Allen, from your perspective of somebody's young, just got married, or they just had some children? What would be a piece of advice that you would give to them going, hey, this is what I would do now because of what you've learned over the years of raising 11 boys?
I will go back to that scripture we just read. It says, walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise. That's circumspectly, careful, intentional. Fools, okay? A fool
Waste time?
is just, he wastes time. He lives for fun. He's not focused. They just, what are we doing? Just willy-nilly, lives for the moment. Or a fool chases after things that don't matter. That's a definition of a fool. A fool is what they call it, fool's gold.
Yeah.
They chase after things that are not important. And so it's really important that you learn the value of things.
So how do you get that? How do you know the value of things? How say I'm talking to Micah. Okay, Micah, here's the value of these things. So put your time toward that. So how do we gain that knowledge to be able to understand
people like
that?
to tell you that's your truth? That's not my truth. That's your
Yeah.
No, I think that's a good question because one of the things he said in there, if you go back and look at some of Nick Saban's speeches and what he built in Alabama, one of his biggest things, be where your feet are. Work with purpose. Okay.
What do you mean where your feet are?
Understand where you are. Be there in the moment. Don't always look forward. Okay, yes, I'm here. I got this, but I'm trying to go over there. I'm trying to do this. I'm grinding.
When my kids get old.
Yes. Right now they're this,
thoughts.
but I think it's a weird. I like what else you said about seasons.
Yeah.
It was funny. Emily and I were talking about so I didn't adjust my 5-year plan or 6-year, 7-year plan when kids came along. I adjusted my sleep habits or my schedule. So Emily was still working nights and she wouldn't get home till 6:30. And I taught a state tested. Yeah, I taught. That's right. 6:30 to 6:30. And I taught a state tested subject. So, it wasn't like I could just not grade
papers,
anything, tests, and so I would get up at about 4:15, get Seth up, and by 4:20 we were gone. We were on the road to Mandeville. I would do my schoolwork in the morning. Emily would pick him up at about 6:45 for me. He would be in there. I'd rock him, and I'm grading because I know I only have this amount of time in the mornings because once I go to football, then it's football and all the things that grades and everything film that happens with football. So none of that changed. And we did that with 2 kids where she would drop them off on the practice field and the trainers would help feed them or anything. And we looked and how did we even
do this?
How did we function? And it was it's a season. Like when they're 4 or 3 or like right now, there's 90 million questions at rapid pace.
And you don't have enough time to answer.
I don't know. it's as soon as you get a sentence. Well, here's what about this? What about, and it's like, gosh, can I have this? Can I, Dad, Mom, Dad? And it's like, but I told Emily, I think it was maybe Saturday, they finally went to bed and both of us just kind of like sat and like, oh my God. And, she's like, I am ready. I was like, no. I said, you know what? And this is what I'm trying to make my mind say and is I'm not ready because once this goes, it's gone.
Yep.
That's right.
And I did tell her, we're going to miss a house where we're just trying to get 5 minutes. Now I don't know how y'all did it with, 7 at 7, but where people were yelling, Mom, Dad, I'm finished. I'm ready. Can you wash me up? Ready to drive, Dad? And you're like, we're going to miss that. And I don't want to just pass through. There's a lot of memories that are made that I can remember.
Right.
That I can remember that we did, and we didn't necessarily spend money.
No.
Handball, breaking Mom's plates. I mean, Mom literally
Not on
had
purpose.
No,
Never mind. Maybe.
not on purpose.
We didn't set out to break them, but
Growing up,
'em.
Mom had 3 things in that house that were hers. Like that was just, she had boy-proofed the entire house. She had 3 things that were like, these are mine, that she could show. And they're plates. They're nice, hand-painted. I don't know where they came from, but they don't exist anymore.
she calls them China.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, they don't last long when the home run is above the fireplace mantle on knee handball. It's,
So let me ask you this. What about your 5-year plan?
Oh, it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist.
That's what I'm asking, because why does it not exist?
I think there's a great, and I'll just say it, I think that, managing your time is just like, what did I say earlier? I lost my mind.
Yeah, I remember it, but obviously I don't remember it. But
Yeah, it's just like saying that, it doesn't, it's a good ism. You got to manage your time. You got to manage but what do they say? Your plans, life is what happens in between your plans. Time, experience, memories is what happens while you're trying to manage. Now, they're characteristics.
Now,
you got to be responsible.
Yeah.
But if you don't take control of your time, somebody else will. I read that in a book years ago, meaning, okay, I will not stress. I refuse to be stressed.
And I think that's hard though, because you're a worker, and what if all of the day's work isn't done?
That's what I'm saying is that most people go, and anytime they get stressed, it's because they're being pressed for time. And years ago, I said, I will not be stressed. I will not be stressed because Jesus bought and paid for me to have a stress-free life, not a problem-free.
No,
stress-free. I can have peace in the midst of the storm, even when it's coming from without. I have a greater power from within pushing against that.
But like going back and see, I've never had that mindset. I'm going to try now.
Now, I struggle with
unfinished. Like if there's still problems, I struggle with shutting my brain off at night because I'll be like, man, I'm just thinking about how do I fix it? It drives me insane. But same thing, like going back, if you remember, one of the things is it's a season. Like I remember him working 3 jobs. He would work construction, then he would go pastor, then in the evenings he would do that maroon truck with pest control, bug blasters, I think it was. Okay, well that's not. I think some of it is where your wife and you kind of say it, because I've had to say it sometimes to myself, but really speaking at her. But it's more for me like, this is just a season, and you understand that there's ebbs and flows just like in life, right? But that's what's really helped me lately is like, look, this is just, yes, I'm surviving, babe, living the dream. Whose dream? Who knows? But it's just a season, and it's part of what we agree to do. And there's some things we don't do. Like Seth doesn't play baseball and football in the same season.
Yeah.
We play one sport during season.
Do you think people your age are trying to do everything because they see it all happening on the internet or on their social media, and friends are going, and we're communicating more, and we feel like we need to do it all.
Yes, and one, you want your kids. I think the base of it is innocent. The intentions are very good because
I want my kid blessed.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
I don't want my kid to miss out.
That's right. Maybe I didn't have, or you didn't have, or I want my kids to have the best experience, the best memories. I want, I know I can't give my kids the best coaching, but Remo's a heck of a baseball coach.
Yeah.
And so I can go, that's where it starts, where I can go join him and I can put Seth in that
Which
class.
goes back to intentionality.
Yeah.
Okay. But
then
if
you
I'm
start
doing
adding all those things.
Yeah.
if I'm doing 3 things for him, three dance lessons for my daughter, and then a gymnastics twice a week, before you know it, and I think the intentions are good because you want to give them experiences and memories, and that's good, but I think it turns into just a whirlwind of
Go, 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 go.
and it's
Do.
it's exhausting. It really is.
Okay, let's talk about being exhausted, because I just got my new National Geographic magazine. Yeah, for some of you, you're going, oh my gosh, it's an
still
ungodly
make
magazine.
those?
Yeah, they still make them, and it's talking about ADHD in adult people, and then more and more people are being diagnosed with ADHD in their late 30s, early 40s. I know if I went right now, they would probably say I have ADHD. I'm like, whatever. But my
There's
point
no
being-
doubt. I'm sitting in a table with 2 prototype, like case 1 studies that ADHD is real. You two, I mean, there's like that. It is
But
real.
here's my point being is that part of our culture? That's what's bringing it on?
I think it's a byproduct. I think it's
agree.
I think it's a.
So how do we help people with that?
I know for me in like the work environment and the way I think COVID really kind of did it was we turned into I'm not going to say it. There's nothing wrong, but an Amazon society where 2-day shipping, next day shipping, like next day.
Yeah, that's
why,
exactly.
boom, boom, boom. Everything's boom. Why not? Got to have right now.
Do as
Gotta
much as
do
you
this.
can within the time that
bow,
you
bow,
have.
Bow, bow, bow. And so it's like this, and it kind of conditions you, and there's nothing wrong with being able to kind of juggle certain things. But I believe it's a byproduct because, like, if you look at the Japanese culture, like what they do in their work, like after work, like there's designated time, not just family time, but that's what it's relatives, like ancestors, like their, family
Comes again, yeah.
that's in for hours, days on, every day. And they always do that during the middle of the day. They have these designated things that they do to where, one, why is the sword, the Japanese sword, the samurai, like the most heralded sword?
Yeah.
Man, the time it takes to produce that, well, that's not really what is pushed now in work.
Yeah.
Especially with there's so much going on,
It's a digital way of keeping up with the Joneses.
yeah.
That would be us, our age, keeping up with the
Yes.
Joneses. You got to do this. You got to go here.
Shorts.
And I'm like,
it's YouTube shorts in
so
real
how
life.
do we be intentional on our time?
I'm glad you asked that question. We'll go back to, it says, redeeming the time because the days are evil. Therefore, do not be unwise, but understand what the will of the Lord is. Okay. And that is, I could say it like this, learning to prioritize what is most important. Learning to, what the Lord tells you. I will make a statement. We are too busy. We are too busy at things that
Don't have any
should be
value.
lower on the priority list. And we're sacrificing things that should be high on the priority list. It's kind of like if you gave a kid to go to the grocery store and he comes back with a buggy full of ice cream and snacks and all that. Okay, do we buy those things? Yeah, but That
don't
ain't
get buggy loads of it.
that ain't the priority.
Yeah.
And I think what's happening, our society has not figured out what the will of the Lord is in your life. Okay, we've got to learn to prioritize. Okay, this is, we got to do this. The rest of it, if we get to. And that, when we raise everything to the same level of importance, that is when
That's
the
where stress comes on. Yeah.
And I gotta have like monetary things. I gotta have this. I gotta have that. Or my kids have got to be involved in everything. And see, that again puts pressure on the monetary thing. I got to pay for everything.
Yeah.
All those things. So it just keeps compounding. And if we will go back to the scripture and see what God says is most important, God tells you how to look at your time, because how you spend your time tells me where your heart is.
So you're telling me that we don't need all the books, we don't need all the apps, we don't need all the websites, so that we can go in there and put our schedule in, so we can schedule our lives so perfect.
Yeah.
So we don't need those?
Well, I mean, you're asking me. I would say
I know you don't need
I was waiting for that.
absolutely not.
That's why I asked.
I think that's part of the problem. We've tried to organize and it to death, and try to, because it's out of trying to fit everything in. And the moments I was looking in our backyard, the moments I took, we spent hours throwing the football and running little routes and just me throwing. That's why I can't hardly throw now. My arm is gone.
Had nothing to do with football back in the day. It's
it was
raising your boys.
It was just, it was time spent. Could I have been doing other things? Yeah. Did we need other things? I mean, we lived hand to mouth. I still live hand to mouth. But
Paycheck to paycheck.
yeah, paycheck. Yeah. I mean, we waiting for the next paycheck. But, man, that is something, that was the will of God in my life. That was, be a father was most important. I mean, obviously, loving God is most important.
Right.
But God makes me love my wife better. God makes me a better father. And I think we've got to stop taking, it says, walk as wise, not as fools. We got to stop taking our cues from the world and slow down just a little bit. I go and watch Seth play football? But let me tell you something. Taking your kids, I'm going to say something that's going to make everybody mad. And I'm just going to say it. Taking your kids to practice and watching another man coach them is not spending time with them. That is not spending time with them. Kids spell love Time.
Yep.
Okay. And so if I know I got to work 50 hours a week just so those kids can eat, well, then I only got so many other hours. And see, the stress comes when we try to put all of it on. I mean, and the stress on me comes, I got to pay for all of it. We got to get them. Who's getting what? Who's picking up? Not everybody. I mean, like Micah has 3. I mean, gosh, he should have
Just 3.
Yeah, he should have so much time.
I know.
I mean,
know.
I mean,
but
what was it? Oh,
we've
Jonathan
talked about
has 6 now?
Yeah.
Just 6.
Yeah. And so, but it comes back to knowing what the will of God, what is God's will for those young fathers? What is God? Is God's will for you to get as much stuff as you can accumulate? Is God's will for you to be involved in everything?
Okay, then that means there needs to be time set apart for fathers and mothers, and especially since this is a podcast for men to spend with God. Because it's hard to know what's important if you're not listening to the one that created us.
Well, that's what I was going to say with one thing. I was going to be smart aleck, but I chose not to because I'm wise.
Thank you.
Yeah.
He's
but
humble too.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But, one of the things where you read, live in God's will. Oh, that's all I got to do. I just got to know God's will, live God's will. That's it.
So
Christ is subverted.
we read more of the Bible to try to understand
okay,
everything.
great. But you also hit on it, which is one thing you go through, or at least I, as a driven guy, if you've got any type A in you, you have, okay, what is my purpose? What is my job purpose? What is,
My family.
Yeah, then my family purpose, then my kids' purpose. And a lot of times the family kind of conflicts with the career.
Yep.
Or maybe that was just me because I didn't know how to handle it. It just it kind of and it was really hard to integrate.
There was a defining moment in my life that helped me. Was that I was working 2 jobs when I first got married, and we had our first daughter, and Haley, and I was working probably 80 to 90 hours between the 2 jobs, and I would see her only at lunch. She was asleep when I got home, and then she was asleep when I got up and left for the next day. And one day God spoke to me very clearly. He said, if you don't do something about what you're doing with your time, you're going to lose your daughter.
See, that's crazy because I did probably about a year or 2 ago. Man, I was burning both ends. Gone before they're up, home before. I mean, hard. And swear to you, I felt like, it was just something, and I didn't come up with this because I don't think like this. But it was like something just, I went in and kissed them. It was 10, they were asleep, but, I still do it anyways every night. And it was something that popped, presence trumps provision.
Okay, well,
and if you're not there,
say it again.
Presence trumps provision, because that was my fight.
Yeah,
that was and I think I've talked with you and Mom about that before.
We all do.
But there's this one society now, or at least for us growing up, especially with social media and stuff. It is, even when you want to be a good guy, not that you're a bad guy and you're trying to navigate. It is more expensive than it ever has been.
yes.
Yeah.
It is harder. Right. Your money doesn't go very far, and you're trying to provide, and you're trying, because what's the number one thing women want? Security. How do you get security? Provision, stable, security in your marriage as you're there. But, I was conflicted. I mean, because I felt I'm not half the dad that I grew up with. There's so many things that I had already done at 5 with no money that me, with more money, I hadn't had time to take my kid. Like I'm missing. I'm home and they're asleep. I'm not home every night. My dad was home every night. I can't even make 3 meals. I can't make, because that's one thing I was going to say. Well, how do you be intentional? Man, family meals, 2 or 3. Everybody sit at a table. Just ask them questions.
How'd their day go?
Yeah, just
turn it
ask
back on them.
2 or 3, and listen to the silly stories. Adeline will tell a story for 97 minutes, and you don't even know what is going. But just listen to, those things. That's great. I'm not there. I'm not there to put them asleep. I'm not there for and I am battling with that, because I also know, happiness. Well, that's what they're pushing on men right now is, and I think that's part of like the feminization of men is you should be happy with
your topic for another day.
Yeah, it is, but men are created completely different than women. I don't even know if happiness is like in our top 5 must-haves. You're not really meant, okay? But you know where I'm happy when there's satisfaction that I'm hitting the mark.
Yeah.
That's what makes me happy. When there's satisfaction with hitting the mark of being a dad. Do I want to take over PYA football? I mean, Not really.
No.
I love coaching.
Yeah.
You don't get paid anything. It's a lot of questions and a lot of problems that you have.
Yeah.
But I do it because I want Seth to have a good league like I had when we grew up, a great experience, try to build something fun to involve. Same thing so that has really helped me to,
Amen.
hey, at 4:30, 4:45, I don't stay late at work very much anymore. Even though I know that's there.
Come?
It'll be there tomorrow.
Because my presence, I only get so many afternoons of Seth asking me, because he started asking me, can we throw the football? Can we throw? He called a couple of passes, a touchdown pass. He also dropped one. And every day, can we throw the football this afternoon? Okay, one, that's character traits that I've tried to instill.
That's right.
You don't get better by whining and just showing up. You got to put the work in when nobody's there. And I'm not going to make you do it, because I'm not going to be the dads that I know and that everybody knows.
Living their life vicariously
you got to
through
do
their
it.
children.
If you want, I'm there. Okay, well, the first 3 times he did, I was like, man, I don't know if I can. I don't know if I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, dude, I felt it's a weird feeling. I think that relates to what wisdom. Like if you read in Proverbs, one of the Proverbs, get wisdom, get understanding.
Constant.
I mean, that's so okay.
It's easier said than done.
It is, but that is walk intentionally. One of the things Emily and I say, how do we want to raise our kids? And that goes back to some of the things that in your book and I was raised.
Why don't we talk about this? I don't think that a lot of people don't see the family as we do, because we have probably about 2 generations that grew up without a father in the home.
100%.
So
100%.
Here we are in a whole different culture. We start talking about spending time at home. These kids, I was talking to somebody this morning, and basically raised herself.
Yeah.
She had to, because mama was off and daddy was in jail. Mama was doing drugs and something like. So she's having to raise her. She raised herself, and she's at a place now. She don't know what to do.
Well, I mean, let's be honest though. Papa's generation, he raised himself.
Because they were working so much.
That's
That
right.
So that goes back to
that generation
about time and everything.
That generation didn't. I mean, if you're talking about, that generation didn't turn out so bad. If you look at all the things that they were able to achieve as a group,
The greatest generation, they call themselves.
Yeah.
and
funny.
I mean, and they were making their own meals and stuff.
That's right.
So I just think that one, prioritizing time, work, but understand that, and I believe this is a godly thing, that my job, first of all, is dad, not provider. To be there. Now, obviously, yes, you are the provider of the family. But when God gives you kids, it says in the Bible, they're a gift. They're a gift. Okay. Well, and Emily said it like this, and really kind of just jabbing. She was like, how much do you like when your kids don't play with your gifts? I was like,
Snap.
yeah. And I'm just looking at it. I was like, that's not really. She was like, why not? Maybe he does mean it like that.
If they're gifts,
Yeah.
use them.
Be like, make it intentional. I try not to. Now this kind of but I try not to, especially if it's at home. Addie, or can we go throw the football? Can you shoot the basketball? Yes. Even though I may not feel like it, and I'm exhausted and I'm tired. It's a season.
That's right.
Because pretty soon they're not going to ask to throw the football with me anymore.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes away.
Yeah.
And
I'll tell you what your mother said the other night. Of course, I said, absolutely not. She said, I wish we could go back when they were all little and they were all here. I'd go back in a heartbeat. I said, well, baby, you lost me right there. I don't want to go back.
I tell Nina the same thing. I said, I miss when the girls were little. And Nina goes, nah, I don't.
Yeah.
She goes, I love it where they're at right now.
I want to, one of the things, I don't know how much time we have,
We got a few more minutes.
But I want to make sure, because in hearing something like this, sometimes that puts pressure on you.
Yeah.
And so I want to go back just for a second and understand, first of all, if you will live your life by God's priorities the way he intended it, it makes decisions for you and it takes pressure off.
Yep.
And what I mean by that is God says, love him with all your heart, soul. And because I love the Lord, it makes me love Amy. And because I love the Lord, it makes me want to be a good dad to them. And because it prioritizes, and I recognize I cannot buy those moments. You cannot, I cannot buy the things that are most important when I keep that. And so what I encourage people to do is begin to seek the Lord. Because I want to tell you, man, when we got to 6, I said, Lord, I have no frame of reference for this. I don't know how. And then we had 5 more after that. And I mean, when we got to 10 and she went 8 years, I went, okay,
And now
it's
you have
over.
20 grandchildren.
And so, 20, expecting the 22nd.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, your time management, when you realize, okay, what's most important? Most important thing is that I give my children a good, solid marriage.
Absolutely.
That, if I love my kids, the most important thing that I do, obviously the Lord is the most important. But when I give them a good, solid marriage, they are, in every statistic, they're better.
Yep.
Instead of giving them all this stuff, if I give them a good, solid marriage, not one time did Micah ever think his mom and dad were going to divorce.
Nope.
And see, even as a pastor, there are a lot of pastors, and I told the Lord, I've stated it publicly, I'm not going to sacrifice my kids for ministry.
Yeah.
Because I do not believe that's godly. I'm not going to sacrifice my marriage or my kids to do ministry. Well, I'm following the Lord. Well, the Lord started the family first.
Yep.
And then he started the church. And so I think it simplifies things. See, part of our problem, we have way too many choices.
Yeah, I
we
agree
have
with that.
way too many. And then we try to get involved in way too many things. And, we're involved in the city. We're involved in Little League.
Mm-hmm.
We're involved in those things. But it's all at its proper place. When things get out of order, that's when they get stressful.
Yep.
That's when they get chaotic. And so I just want to encourage guys, look, don't take this speech, okay, I got to get better. No, just seek the Lord. God, put your priorities. Put that, just like I love what Micah said. The Lord spoke that to him and said, presence trumps provision. Okay, he could have heard 1,000 sermons.
But when God spoke it to him.
That's right. That's why I encourage, look, have a quiet time. Go to church, worship. God speaks to you. He uses, and then as God speaks to you, he begins to prioritize, and you realize, man, I don't want to miss this moment. I want to be there to baptize them. I want to be there to do those things. And because, that old Wayne Watson song, he don't know who Wayne Watson is, but the watercolor ponies will one day ride away.
And know what that is.
And
You
then
can look it up. It's on YouTube.
it's a great song talking about the watercolor ponies painted by their kids. One day they're going to ride away.
Okay.
And I just encourage people. That's why I try to seek the Lord, because the Lord is the ultimate Father.
Yes.
He is the ultimate one, and he will not let you get off chasing fool's gold. And that's what the world wants you to chase and spend all your time chasing stuff that does not satisfy.
Well, I think there's one thing that I wanted to encourage is, I'm telling you, though, it was a struggle that, you can't tell, I would talk with Emily about it a little bit, but you can't really divulge the the great battle that you have within that, because nobody can beat you like you can.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's just me. Like, I mean,
no, it's all us.
That's right.
There's you're not failing because you're struggling with recognizing
Yeah.
Yes.
that there's something out of whack or out of sync. You're not struggling with recognize. You're not failing as a dad because I struggle
you recognize
with that.
it.
I struggle with that. Like I am not. Like I ain't hitting it. Like okay, we're making a little bit more money, but I'm not. I'm failing.
That's what
like I'm
feel
not the dad I wanted. I see myself. I'm not. That's okay to feel like that for now if you recognize you're not a failure when you recognize that.
Because it goes back to what your dad's saying in the scripture, because you realize that you're listening to the voice of God.
You just got screwed. You're kind of that's right. And your core, what you base your life on and giving your heart to the Lord and trying to say, okay, I mean, one of the things, God, I'm trying to stay in your will. I don't really know if I know what it is right now. For me, I'm going to be okay with that, or I'm going to tell myself I'm okay with it. But this is where I'm going. And if it ain't where you want me to go, I'm going to need some.
I need you to show me some stuff.
And there's some things that he'll let you fight and tussle with to figure out that may not really be important.
That's right.
But I would have never known that if I had not gone through a year of really just exhaustion, grinded away a lot of my protection isms.
Yeah.
And you learned some things along the way.
I did.
Because you had to have
That you couldn't learn any other way.
It's great. As much of a support that I had, I got a little, I'm a little strong-willed.
Really? I've never noticed.
I know. But I wanted to say it's not okay. It's what's not okay is holding and saying it's just me. First of all, it's not you. I've got friends in this community in other states. Every one of them are going through, are working through what y'all went through at mid-30s. Your kids are kind of getting a little bit older and you're realizing like they're not dressing up anymore. Yeah. And it's like, I've missed it. And if you're worth anything, all of a sudden there's some dad guilt. Mm-hmm. I couldn't be there. I'll share this one story and I don't remember dad ever missing a football game my entire life that I played in. Am I wrong?
If you're having to think that hard, you probably didn't.
I'm telling you from 8 years old.
I didn't miss many.
I don't remember one game he missed. Not one. Seth's first school affiliated event, running track, he was like the number one in his age group. I missed. I was gone.
But here's the thing is that's where the enemy comes in.
Oh, and they did.
He will beat you down because you're comparing yourself to this man, and you're not supposed to.
Well, no, but it was one of the things my dad never missed. He made it a point. And I'm telling you, I cried.
And rightfully so.
I think it was the thing that I said, I will never miss. I'm not going to be one of those dads, right? I'm never going to, a telephone dad. I'm never going to
say never.
Well, and we're not even past second grade. We're not even past second grade.
It's early on.
It's okay.
That's right.
To struggle with it.
That's right.
Because you're not, because we all do. But one of the things that helped in the struggle is sometimes the struggle is to shave off some of the things that I thought were important, that I wanted.
That just don't matter.
So
to sum all this up, I would just say from what we're talking about, time being the great equalizer, it puts us all on the same same level. Now, how we deal with that time that we all have different in different stages. in life? Would you not say that?
Ooh, that's a good one.
So I don't want to get too far
No,
in
that's
because
a good one.
we got to wrap
Yeah.
this thing up. And if,
Yes.
Brother Allen, one piece of advice, if you can give some advice to somebody that's just starting out and getting married and they're needing to understand, obviously you just said about circumstance, but from your experience, what one piece of advice would you tell somebody?
I think one of the biggest things is have conversations where you listen. I think one of the biggest things is be there to listen. One of the greatest memories I have is us sitting around the table and I'd go around and ask them, how was your day? And it just, I mean, of course, Jacob always had some goofy answer. You know, it was just,
Yeah.
it was, but you know, it built that every voice was important. My wife, listening to her, you know, if my time with the Lord, if you are not having a quiet time, you are in trouble.
Yes.
You know, my worship time, my prayer time, you know, with the Lord. And so when you prioritize those, understand, you know, when you get to the end, you realize, okay, God wanted you to do this and this and this. And down here, we spend all our time. And really, I want to be, and it's not perfection that we're looking for.
No.
It's just getting forward and getting better. And every one of those requirements change.
Yep.
That's why I got to hear the Lord. Like my life is different now with grandchildren. Mm-hmm. It's totally different. The requirements are different.
You can send them home with their parents.
Yeah. I don't have to change their diaper. Yeah, all those things. But I would just encourage, keep the main thing the main thing.
Yeah.
Understand, when I had that millionaire look at me, one of my sons, I'll never forget that moment. One of my sons walked up to me and butted in like teenagers do. And walked up and gave me he said, Dad, I want to go over here. Is that okay? I said, yeah, man. And he did because I've always made him hug me. And he said, hug me and said, I love you. He walked off and the guy's total complexion changed. And he looked at me and said, I would give every cent for my son, my grown son, to tell me I love you. He said, I would lay it all down. And it was just such a moment realizing we're chasing things that when you get toward the end, you realize.
They don't matter. They never matter.
You know, you're not going to impress God how much money you have. You're not going to, you know, and so I would just encourage people to ask God to help you prioritize your time.
So
that's the biggest thing. Make choices, and you might have to lay down things.
you may have to lay down some dreams that you wanted.
That's right. That's
So-
right.
And because of what's best, not
That's right.
for what you want, what's best for you and your family.
That's right.
So, first of all, guys, thank you for joining us on the Kingsman podcast. And just, you want to say anything, you want to DM us, you want to put something in the comments, do that. We want to hear from you. So, until next time, God loves you.